Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Time Lord Archive. In today's video, we'll be remembering American celebrities who have sadly passed away in recent days, as well as honoring other notable figures from around the world. Before we begin, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could show your support by giving this video a like. It truly helps the channel and means a great deal to us. Thank you. And now, let's get started. Kelly Mack, an actress and producer, celebrated for her portrayal of Addie in Season 9 of The Walking Dead, passed away at the age of 33 after a courageous battle with a central nervous system glioma. Born Kelly Cabino on July 10, 1992, in Cincinnati, she discovered her passion for storytelling early in life, inspired by a childhood gift, a video camera. A graduate of Hinsdale Central High School and Chapman University's Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, Mack built a diverse career spanning film, television, and voice work, earning 35 acting credits and 5 as a producer. Her breakout came in 2019 with The Walking Dead, followed by memorable appearances in Chicago Med and 911. On the big screen, she starred in the thrillers Signal Intrusion and Delicate Arch, and was set to appear in the upcoming film Universal, where she also served as executive producer. Her voice acting reached audiences worldwide, most notably as Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse promotional campaigns, as well as in major brand projects for Budweiser, Credit Karma, Herbal Essences, and more. Loved ones remember Mack as fearless, radiant, and endlessly generous. A warm, quick-witted soul who touched everyone she met. She passed peacefully, surrounded by family, leaving behind a legacy of creativity, resilience, and love that will continue to inspire for years to come. Asher Watkins, a Texas ranch broker and seasoned outdoorsman, was widely respected for his expertise in buying and selling ranch and farmland across Texas and Oklahoma. Raised in Dallas, he grew up immersed in his family's hunting traditions and cattle operations, developing a deep and lasting bond with the land. That passion became the foundation of his career as managing partner of Watkins Ranch Group, where his knowledge, integrity, and straightforward approach earned him the trust of clients and colleagues alike. Driven by a spirit of adventure, Asher embraced challenges both in business and in life. His love for hunting carried him to far corners of the world, and friends recall him as a courageous man of faith, brimming with energy and always ready with a signature wink that hinted at his ever-present humor. Above all, Asher cherished being a father, sharing an unbreakable bond with his daughter, the center of his world. His sudden passing during a hunting trip in South Africa left family, friends, and peers in deep mourning. Remembered as a devoted son, brother, and father, Asher's life was a testament to resilience, generosity, and living fully. His legacy endures in the lives he touched and the countless memories of adventures shared. Lonnie K. Anderson, beloved for her charming and quick-witted portrayal of Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati, became one of the most recognizable faces on television in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Born on August 5, 1945, in St. Paul, Minnesota, she began her acting journey with a role in Nevada Smith, before making guest appearances on several hit TV shows. Her big break came in 1978 when producers, captivated by a swimsuit poster of her, cast her as Jennifer Marlowe, a role that earned her 3 Golden Globe nominations and 2 Emmy nominations. Over the course of her career, Anderson starred in films such as Stroker Ace and The Lonely Guy, and voiced the character Flo in All Dogs Go to Heaven. On television, she led series like Partners in Crime and Easy Street, and appeared in acclaimed TV movies including White Hot: The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd. She later reprised her role in the new WKRP in Cincinnati and joined the sitcom Nurses. In her later years, she took on roles in the web series My Sister Is So Gay and the Lifetime holiday film Ladies of the 80s: A Diva's Christmas. Married 4 times, including to actor Burt Reynolds, Anderson was the proud mother of 2 and grandmother of 4. Beyond acting, she served as a passionate spokesperson for COPD awareness, inspired by her family's own health struggles. Lonnie Anderson's enduring legacy remains a blend of beauty, wit, and an indelible mark on television history. Tom Lehrer, the Harvard-trained mathematician who became a legendary satirist, has died at his home in Cambridge, Massachusetts, at the age of 97. Known for his razor-sharp wit and delightfully irreverent songs, Lehre's music became a cultural touchstone of the 1950s and 60s, echoing through college campuses and underground clubs nationwide, with hits like Poisoning Pigeons in the Park, The Masochism Tango, and The Vatican Rag. Blending jaunty melodies with biting social commentary, he had a rare gift for making audiences laugh, wince, and think, often all at once. Though his albums sold in the hundreds of thousands, Lehrer famously stepped away from performing in 1960, returned briefly, and then left the stage for good in 1967. His satire endured through recordings, television appearances, and even children's educational programming via the Electric Company. A devoted academic as well, Lehrer taught mathematics at Harvard, MIT, and the University of California, shaping young minds with the same precision he brought to his lyrics. In later years, in an act as unconventional as his humor, he placed his entire body of work in the public domain, inviting anyone to use or adapt it freely. Never married and without children, Lehrer leaves no direct heirs, but his enduring legacy continues to inspire artists, comedians, and truth-tellers unafraid to fuse intellect with irreverence. Ralph Lewis Wise Jr., a versatile American actor whose career spanned television, film, and stage, left behind a legacy of memorable performances over nearly 3 decades. Born in Altoona, Pennsylvania, he graduated from Altoona Area High School in 1960 before attending Pennsylvania State University and serving in the U.S. Navy. Wise made his screen debut in 1972 with the TV movie Call Her Mom and the sitcom The Sandy Duncan Show. He soon gained recognition for his role as paramedic Sidney Pacelli in ABC's Trauma Center, and as Oliver Wardell, the wealthy and tech-savvy neighbor in B.L. Stryker. His television work also included guest appearances on Mary Hartman, The Jeffersons, and Tour of Duty. On the big screen, Wise appeared in several hits, including Smokey and the Bandit, The Cannonball Run, Hooper, and City Heat. His stage credits were equally impressive, with a standout performance as Charlie Baker in The Foreigner. After concluding his career with S Club 7 in Miami in 2000, he retired from acting. Married to Stephanie Bliss for many years, Wise's life reflected both artistic dedication and personal devotion. His body of work, ranging from comedy to drama, remains a vivid part of the entertainment tapestry of his era, securing his place among the most distinctive actors of his generation. Tom Jones, born Thomas John Woodward on June 7, 1940, in Pontypridd, South Wales, emerged from modest beginnings to become one of the most iconic voices in popular music. His upbringing was firmly working class, the son of a coal miner, and his early life was shaped by the rugged industrial landscape of the Welsh valleys. From an early age, music was woven into the fabric of his existence, not as an abstract ambition, but as a living, breathing part of his community. Church hymns, radio hits, and the folk songs sung at local gatherings all contributed to the shaping of his distinctive vocal style. Jones grew up during the aftermath of World War II in a household where money was scarce, but warmth and family bonds were abundant. His mother, Frida, was particularly supportive of his musical leanings, often encouraging him to sing at family events and school gatherings. It was clear from the beginning that he possessed a rare and powerful voice, one that could cut through the chatter of a crowded room. But his childhood was also marked by personal trials, most notably contracting tuberculosis at the age of 12, which kept him bedridden for nearly 2 years. This period of isolation, rather than discouraging him, deepened his appreciation for music as a source of emotional strength and personal expression. By the time he was a teenager, Tom had begun to perform locally, mostly at working men's clubs, weddings, and small venues where he learned how to engage an audience. His influences ranged from American rhythm and blues to rock and roll, with artists like Little Richard, Elvis Presley, and Jackie Wilson shaping his performance style. He was not simply imitating them. He was absorbing their energy and translating it through the lens of his own Welsh grit and powerful baritone voice. In 1957, at just 17 years old, Tom made a life-changing decision when he married his high school sweetheart, Melinda Trenchard, known as Linda. That same year, the couple welcomed their only child, Mark Woodward, Fatherhood brought new responsibilities, and Tom took on a series of manual labor jobs to support his young family, working as a builder's laborer and even briefly in a glove factory. But his passion for singing never waned. On weekends and evenings, he performed with local bands, most notably the group Tommy Scott and the Senators, where his magnetic stage presence and booming voice began to draw wider attention. His big break came in 1963, when the band's demo recordings caught the ear of London-based manager Gordon Mills. Mills saw in Tom a raw, untapped potential and immediately signed him, suggesting the stage name Tom Jones to evoke both strength and a sense of classic British identity. Also capitalizing on the popularity of the film adaptation of Henry Fielding's novel Tom Jones at the time. Under Mills's guidance, Tom moved from the pubs and clubs of Wales to the vibrant, competitive music scene of London. In 1964, Tom recorded the single Chills and Fever, which received modest attention, but it was his next release, It's Not Unusual, that catapulted him to stardom in 1965. The song's infectious rhythm, brassy arrangement, and Jones's unmistakable vocal power made it an instant hit, reaching #1 in the UK charts and breaking into the US market. Practically overnight, Tom Jones went from a Welsh club singer to an international sensation. His energetic performances, swiveling hips, and charismatic grin drew comparisons to Elvis, yet his voice, deeper, brasher, and undeniably his own, set him apart. The success of It's Not Unusual opened the door to a series of television appearances, tours, and recording sessions. He quickly became known not just for his vocal ability, but for his ability to connect with audiences, whether in a small club or on a grand stage. His early career was also marked by his adaptability. He could deliver raw rock and roll, tender ballads, or dramatic show tunes with equal conviction. This versatility, combined with his working-class authenticity, made him relatable to fans from all walks of life. By the end of the 1960s, Tom Jones was not just a rising star, he was a fixture in the music industry. The foundation laid during his early years, resilience forged in illness, discipline honed in manual labor, and charisma cultivated in smoky Welsh clubs would carry him through the peaks and valleys of a career that would span decades. His biography and early career tell a story not only of talent, but of grit, determination, and the sheer force of personality that would keep Tom Jones at the forefront of entertainment for more than half a century. The mid to late 1960s marked the explosive peak of Tom Jones's career, a period when his name became synonymous with showmanship, vocal power, and international stardom. After the breakout success of It's Not Unusual in 1965, Jones found himself in constant demand, not only in the UK, but across Europe and the United States. His ability to deliver electrifying performances, blending pop, soul, and rhythm and blues made him a global phenomenon almost overnight. Jones's early hits rolled in rapidly. What's New Pussycat, written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David for the Woody Allen film of the same name, showcased his playful, larger-than-life persona. Then came the sultry Thunderball theme for the James Bond film in 1965, a recording that famously required him to sustain a long note so powerful that he later claimed he nearly passed out in the studio. These tracks cemented his status as a vocal powerhouse and expanded his audience far beyond Britain. By 1966, Jones was touring relentlessly, appearing on major television programs like The Ed Sullivan Show and Shindig in the US. His live performances became legendary for their energy and intimacy. Audiences, especially women, were drawn to his charismatic stage presence and uninhibited style. It was during this time that the famous tradition of female fans throwing undergarments at the stage began, a light-hearted but telling symbol of his status as a sex symbol of the era. The late 1960s also marked a turning point when Jones's career expanded into the glitzy world of Las Vegas. Beginning with his residency at the Flamingo Hotel in 1967, he quickly became a mainstay of the Strip, perfecting a style of performance that combined powerhouse vocals with a lounge-like charm. His shows were theatrical without being overproduced, and his magnetic personality kept audiences coming back night after night. The Las Vegas years would become a defining part of his career, lasting well into the following decades. In 1969, Jones launched This Is Tom Jones, a weekly television variety show produced in the UK but broadcast internationally, including in the United States. The show ran for 3 seasons and featured an impressive roster of musical guests, from Janis Joplin to Stevie Wonder, alongside comedy sketches and duets that showcased Jones's versatility. It was not just a platform for his singing, it reinforced his global popularity and positioned him as a cross-media entertainer. The early 1970s saw Tom Jones adapt to changing musical trends while maintaining his signature vocal style. Songs like She's a Lady, 1971, written by Paul Anka, became massive hits, climbing the charts in both the US and UK. He also embraced a more mature, romantic image without losing the energetic stage persona that first made him famous. By now, his wardrobe of open-collared shirts, gold chains, and tight trousers was as iconic as his booming voice. At the height of his fame, Jones was performing hundreds of shows a year, recording new albums, and maintaining a constant presence on television. He mingled with Hollywood royalty, performed for the British royal family, and counted Elvis Presley as a close friend, sharing late-night singing sessions in Las Vegas and influencing each other's style. This friendship only reinforced his image as one of the era's true kings of entertainment. What made this period truly remarkable was Jones's ability to straddle multiple worlds, pop charts, television, and the high-end cabaret scene, without losing credibility in any of them. While many of his contemporaries faded as musical tastes shifted, Jones adapted without compromising the core elements that defined him: his soulful voice, his commanding presence, and his authentic connection with audiences. By the mid-1970s, Tom Jones had become more than just a pop singer. He was a cultural institution. His peak years were not just about chart-topping hits. They were about building a legacy of live performance excellence, a reputation for showmanship, and a body of work that could transcend changing trends. This golden period solidified the foundation that would carry him through the later reinventions of his career, ensuring his place among the most enduring entertainers of the 20th century. As the 1970s progressed, the golden glow surrounding Tom Jones began to dim slightly, not due to a loss of talent, but because the cultural and musical landscape was shifting in ways that did not always align with his established style. The rise of disco, punk, and later new wave music began to push traditional showmen like Jones to the sidelines of the pop charts. While he still enjoyed a loyal fan base, particularly in Las Vegas and on the cabaret circuit, the broader industry's attention was moving toward younger, more contemporary acts. For an artist used to dominating airwaves and television screens, this was a difficult adjustment. Financial strains also crept into his life during this period. Jones's lavish lifestyle, characterized by expensive homes, luxury cars, and a high-spending social scene, required a constant flow of income. When album sales dipped and touring revenues fluctuated, the financial pressure became more apparent. There were also disputes with management, particularly involving Gordon Mills, his longtime manager, over business decisions and profit distribution. These professional tensions eventually led to their parting of ways in the early 1980s, marking the end of a partnership that had been instrumental in shaping Jones's early success. On a personal level, Tom Jones's life was also the subject of intense tabloid scrutiny. His marriage to Linda Trenchard, which began when they were both teenagers, remained intact for decades, but it was not without publicized challenges. Jones himself admitted in interviews to a long history of extramarital affairs during the height of his fame. These revelations, combined with persistent rumors and occasional public allegations from women claiming romantic links with the singer, became fodder for the press. The most notable controversy emerged when a woman named Catherine Bergery claimed Jones was the father of her child. After DNA testing in 1989, it was confirmed he was the father, though Jones initially denied the paternity before later acknowledging it. The handling of the situation drew criticism from both fans and the media, painting a more complicated picture of the singer's personal life. In addition to these personal controversies, Jones also faced the challenge of being typecast by the industry and the public. The very traits that had made him a star, His sensual stage persona, his flamboyant style, and his association with Las Vegas became something of a double-edged sword. Critics began to dismiss him as a relic of a bygone entertainment era, more suited for the casino stage than the cutting edge of popular music. This perception was particularly damaging in the 1980s, when image and relevance were as important as vocal ability in sustaining a mainstream career. The 1980s also brought legal and tax disputes that further complicated matters. Shifts in residency, earnings from performances in different countries, and disputes with former business associates led to drawn-out negotiations and, at times, public legal wrangling. These issues added to the narrative that Jones's career, though still active, was struggling under the weight of past decisions. Even musically, Jones hit a creative crossroads. Attempts to update his sound and image sometimes missed the mark, failing to connect with younger audiences or critics. A series of albums released during the late 70s and early 80s received lukewarm responses, and Jones found himself relying more heavily on his live shows to maintain his profile. While his voice remained as strong as ever, the lack of chart-topping singles made it clear that his position in the mainstream was under threat. Despite these challenges, Jones never fully disappeared from public view, and his ability to endure the storm was a testament to his resilience. The crises and controversies of this era, both personal and professional, would come to define a period of reinvention in his career. They forced him to confront not only the changing tastes of the music world, but also his own identity as an artist and public figure. What seemed like a slow fade from glory would, in time, become the setup for one of the most remarkable comebacks in modern entertainment history. The late 1980s and early 1990s marked a decisive turning point for Tom Jones, a period in which he transformed from a fading Las Vegas lounge icon into a revered elder statesman of popular music. Rather than surrender to the changing tides of the industry, Jones began to reimagine himself, both musically and publicly. The first signs of this reinvention came with his decision to embrace more contemporary styles and collaborate with younger artists who saw him as a legend rather than a relic. One pivotal moment came in 1988 with his unexpected cover of Prince's Kiss in collaboration with Art of Noise. The track was playful, funky, and self-aware, reaching the UK top 5 and reminding audiences worldwide that Jones could still surprise them. This success injected fresh energy into his career and showed that he was willing to step outside his comfort zone. The 1990s saw Jones expanding this newfound momentum. He diversified his repertoire, incorporating soul, gospel, and even alternative influences into his work. His performances became more about raw authenticity than showy spectacle, a move that earned him critical respect. He also embraced television appearances that showcased his personality, including guest spots on talk shows and music specials, where he could poke fun at his own past image. This self-deprecating charm helped win over a new generation, who appreciated him not just as a singer, but as a pop culture personality. In 1999, Jones achieved one of the most remarkable comebacks in British music history with the release of Reload, an album of duets with artists ranging from Van Morrison to Stereophonics and the Cardigans. The album's eclectic mix of styles bridged generations, reaching #1 in the UK and becoming his best-selling album ever. Hits like Burning Down the House and Mama Told Me Not to Come introduced him to audiences who had never experienced his early work. Reload not only revitalized his chart presence, but also repositioned him as a timeless artist, capable of crossing genre and age boundaries. The 2000s continued this trajectory, with Jones releasing critically acclaimed albums such as Praise and Blame, 2010, a stripped-down gospel and blues record that showcased the depth and soul of his voice without overproduction. This period marked his transition from showman to serious artist in the eyes of critics. His willingness to take creative risks, often choosing raw, emotional material over commercial formulas, demonstrated a confidence born of decades in the business. Jones also embraced his role as a mentor and cultural figurehead. Serving as a coach on The Voice UK from 2012 onward, he connected with young talent while endearing himself to mainstream television audiences. His warmth, humor, and genuine passion for music shone through, reinforcing his public image as both approachable and iconic. Personally, Jones's later years were marked by resilience in the face of loss, particularly the death of his wife Linda in 2016. Rather than retreat, he poured his grief into his art, releasing deeply personal work that reflected both vulnerability and strength. Tours continued, often selling out across Europe, the US, and Australia, proving that his appeal remained truly global. By the 2010s and into the 2020s, Tom Jones had not only reclaimed his relevance, but transcended the idea of comeback altogether. He was now celebrated as a living legend, one who had navigated the perils of fame, endured personal and professional storms, and emerged stronger, wiser, and more respected than ever. His journey from working-class Wales to global superstardom, through decline and rebirth, stands as one of the most remarkable stories in popular music. And through it all, his voice, rich, powerful, and unmistakably his own, remains the unbroken thread connecting every era of his career. Tom Jones's legacy is one of remarkable endurance, versatility, and the ability to bridge generations without losing authenticity. From the moment It's Not Unusual burst onto the airwaves in 1965, he became a symbol of bold, unapologetic charisma. A working-class Welshman who could command the stage alongside the world's most celebrated entertainers. Yet, unlike many of his contemporaries, Jones managed to continuously evolve, refusing to be confined to a single era or style. His voice, a powerhouse blend of gospel grit, soul warmth, and rock swagger, is widely regarded as one of the most distinctive in popular music, inspiring vocalists across genres from pop to blues to country. Jones's influence can be felt most directly in the generations of performers who followed him. Artists like Michael Bublé, Robbie Williams, and even the late George Michael have cited his ability to combine showmanship with vocal mastery as a blueprint for balancing commercial appeal with artistic credibility. His stage presence, commanding yet playful, set a standard for live performance that transcended mere singing. Jones didn't just deliver songs, he inhabited them. This theatrical yet emotionally grounded approach helped shape the careers of countless entertainers who understood that an audience's connection depends on more than technical skill. It requires personality, vulnerability, and flair. In the UK, Jones's journey from Pontypridd to international superstardom became a source of national pride, cementing him as one of the country's most beloved cultural ambassadors. His knighthood in 2006 was not merely a recognition of his music, but of his enduring contribution to British culture, and his role in keeping the nation's music industry visible on the global stage. Across the Atlantic, he was embraced as part of the British invasion, while managing to carve out a separate identity from bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. One rooted in soul and showbiz polish, rather than guitar-driven rebellion. Jones's willingness to experiment also stands as a hallmark of his influence. Whether covering Prince, collaborating with alternative rock bands, or stripping down to gospel and blues, he demonstrated that reinvention is not an abandonment of one's roots, but a reaffirmation of artistic vitality. This adaptability influenced how veteran artists, from Cher to Johnny Cash, approached later stages of their careers, showing that longevity is achieved through creative risk-taking rather than repetition. His legacy is also deeply tied to television and popular culture. From his iconic variety show This Is Tom Jones in the late 1960s to his role as a beloved coach on The Voice UK, he has been more than a recording artist. He has been a constant presence in the public consciousness for over half a century. This dual role as both a music legend and a pop culture personality has ensured that his influence reaches beyond music into the broader entertainment industry. Perhaps most enduring of all is the cultural memory of Tom Jones as a performer who gave everything on stage, physically, vocally, and emotionally. He never lost the sense of joy and immediacy in his music, whether singing to stadiums, intimate clubs, or television audiences. This wholehearted commitment inspired not only singers but anyone striving to sustain a lifelong creative career. His story serves as a testament to resilience, adaptability, and the belief that talent coupled with hard work can outlast the shifting fashions of the industry. Today, as new artists sample his songs, reference his performances, and look to him as an example of artistic longevity, Tom Jones's influence continues to ripple through the cultural landscape. His career has not simply been about hits or awards. It has been about embodying the idea that true artistry ages not by fading but by deepening, and that a great voice is as much a reflection of life lived as it is of notes sung. For all his fame, wealth, and longevity in the music industry, Tom Jones's life has not been untouched by profound sorrow. Beneath the glitter of the stage lights and the adoration of millions lies a deeply personal chapter marked by loss and regret. The most enduring pain in his life came with the death of his wife, Lady Melinda "Linda" Trenchard, in 2016, after a brief but aggressive battle with cancer. She was more than his partner. She was his childhood sweetheart, the girl he fell in love with at 12 years old in Pontypridd, Wales, and the anchor who grounded him through decades of international fame and the temptations that came with it. Linda had been a fiercely private woman, shunning the limelight despite being married to one of the world's most recognizable performers. Throughout Jones's career, she remained in the background, rarely photographed, and even less often interviewed. But to Tom, she was the constant, the voice of honesty when success became overwhelming, the comfort during times of uncertainty, and the one person who knew him not as a celebrity but as Tommy from Treforest. Her passing left a void that no audience applause could fill. Jones openly admitted that after her death, he felt as though the very foundation of his life had been shaken, leading him to question his purpose and future in music. The sorrow was compounded by a deep sense of guilt. Over the years, Jones had been linked to numerous affairs, a fact he has never fully denied, and he later spoke candidly about how he regretted the pain those actions may have caused Linda. Her loyalty to him remained unwavering, despite the public scandals, and in her final days, she reminded him to continue singing, to keep living. Her loss became a turning point, forcing him to reassess not just his career, but his personal identity. Beyond Linda's death, another enduring source of sorrow was the loss of his close friend and musical contemporary, Elvis Presley, in 1977. Jones had formed a strong bond with Elvis in the late 1960s, performing in Las Vegas during the same era and sharing private moments away from the cameras. Elvis's death at such a young age was a grim reminder of the pressures and excesses of fame, and Jones has often spoken about how it left him with a lingering sadness. Tom Jones's sorrows are also tied to the natural passage of time, the loss of friends, collaborators, and family members who shaped his journey. Yet, perhaps what makes his story so human is the way he has carried these losses. Rather than retreat into isolation, Jones has used music as both an outlet and a tribute. Songs performed after Linda's passing, such as those on his album Long Lost Suitcase and subsequent works, carried a raw emotional weight, as though each note was a conversation with her spirit. His greatest sorrow is not simply about losing someone dear. It is about losing the person who loved him before the fame, who believed in him without the trappings of success, and whose presence allowed him to be more than Tom Jones the legend. In interviews, he has said that while the pain will never disappear, it has deepened his understanding of love, loss, and the preciousness of time. In this way, even his sorrow has become part of his artistry. On stage today, when he sings a ballad about love or loss, the authenticity in his voice is undeniable. It carries decades of joy, triumph, and grief. And in the quiet spaces between songs, one can sense that his music is now as much a memorial as it is a performance, a way of keeping Linda's memory alive in front of the world.